Hi guys, happy Monday. I'm redoing this video because some people were having problems this weekend exporting an AAF from an AMA linked project. And I think that's because we were linking back to the original footage, which is very complicated, lots of linking upon linking, and it's sort of no wonder that there were problems with that that I didn't anticipate. So I've come up with a solution. Those doing an AMA linked project are going to consolidate their media. And then in the process of sort of figuring that out, I decided that it might be better to do the AAF from the Transcoded projects by copying all media because just, I'm nervous now about the linking. And so I've come up with another way to do that. So we're just going to scrap the old video, and this is going to be the video that I show you everything in. And I'm going to go through the process of doing both of them. So your post sound person's going to want at least two things. They may want other things, but these are the two main things, and these are the things that your profs have asked for. So they're going to want a reference video, and your profs have asked for a DV stream video. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Of course, that's going to include your 2-beep at the head and at the tail, and 1 hour time code, meaning the first frame of picture starts at 01, 000000. And I showed you, and of course time code burn-in, and I've showed you how to do that in a different video on this YouTube channel, and also there's a link in the project folder, so or the project file, the project outline, all of the project outlines. So take a look at the video. You're gonna have to make sure you do that picture perfect this time because it's what's gonna keep your audio in sync, and it's gonna be a reference for you. So I know that some of you do it really well, and then other people are a little iffy. So make sure you go back to that video and you do that properly for this one in particular, and from now on, because your grades are affected by not doing it properly. So and then I'm going to move through and do the AMA link, the AAF for AMA linked projects. We're going to do a consolidate. We're going to make really big handles to sort of make up for the fact that we're consolidating. 500 frame handles are about 15 seconds. So probably usually bigger than I would send, but awesome. The audio is going to be embedded in the AAF. Track organization is going to include your first track is going to have dialogue or interview, your second track is going to have temp effects, and your third track is going to have temp music. And we spoke about that in class. Pretty straightforward. All right, the AAF for Transcoded projects, as I mentioned, we're going to copy all the media. That way there's going to be no linking issues. We're going to embed that in the AAF. Makes it really simple. You just take one sort of file into ProTools, super simple, and the track organization is going to be exactly the same. One track for dialogue, second track for temp FX, and third track for temp music. All right, so let's get started. So here's my project. I've used some BPAV that one of the students gave me early on. So if you recognize this person, that would be why. So what we're going to do is, first of all, create a new bin. And that new bin is going to be specific to exporting for post sound. So I'm going to call it sort of exports for post sound. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate my timeline. So I'm going to start with the AMA timeline, although I will only do the video process once because it's the same for each, so no big deal. So I'm going to hit Command. I'm going to click on that timeline, and I'm going to bring it up here. So once that is done, I'm going to label it. And of course, by clicking Command, I've duplicated it, right? It's still down here and it's still down here. And I duplicate it because I'm going to start messing around with this and exporting it and doing different things. And so this way, by having the duplicate, I'm not messing up the old one. If I do anything weird and the edit gets shifted around accidentally or something like that, I've still got my original timeline to go back to, my original sequence. So I'm going to call it AMA link for AMA link AAF test. You would, of course, maybe I'll add like for post sound. You would maybe call it documentary for post sound, or the title of your documentary. Always good, of course, to date things, March 30th. Just something that you're going to be, it's going to be really clear for you and your collaborators to recognize it. So really whatever's good for you and keeps your file from getting lost. So now we're gonna, we would take this at this point and add our 2 beeps, add our timecode burn-in, all that stuff would happen at this point. I'm not gonna do that because that's already in the video, the other video, so do refer to that video if you don't know how to do that stuff, or if you wanna check out exactly what the specs are and how it's done. So I'm gonna click on my timeline. I'm gonna hit File, Export. And I'm gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna call it for post sound. Maybe you call it documentary for post sound, or doc for post sound, or the name of your doc, or maybe your last name, so that it doesn't get mixed up with other people's AAFs in the classroom. And there it is. And so what we're gonna do down here is pick send a QuickTime movie, and we've our post sound people have requested a DV stream. So I'm gonna hit format options. So I hit DV stream here in the export as. I hit format options. It's set to DV. NTSC is great. We're in North America. You would pick interlaced if you're interlaced, progressive if you're progressive. I hope by now everyone's shooting progressive. No reason to shoot interlaced. 16:9. All your projects are in 16:9. Because we're gonna export in 16:9, we won't worry about letterboxing. We're gonna make it whatever your audio format is. In kilohertz, I would imagine it's all 48 kilohertz. That's the sort of standard video kilohertz. If it's 44, you would of course hit 44. All right. So we're looking good. So that's all set up great. We're taking video and audio. We're gonna hit save, and let's go find our folder that we created. There it is. All right, so that looks pretty good. That's a good title, so I'm going to send it there. Okay. All right, and if we open up our folder now, there's our DV, our video file. I'm just going to open that up in QuickTime. There it is. Looks good. Aspect ratio looks good. You would, of course, have your timecode burn-in and your 2 peeps and all that, so you'd be looking to make sure they look good. There we go. Okay, and now we're ready to export our AAF. So you're going to want to make sure all of your video channels are selected. You can do that by selecting Command A. You want to make sure they're patched correctly. And of course, here you can see that there's all we have is our main audio source. So our first 2 channels are sort of our main audio, so our dialogue or our interview. You would, of course, have a channel, well, if you have sound effects, you would have a channel down here that had sound effects, and then you'd have a 3rd channel that would have music. So you want to make sure those are all set up correctly. There's not too many channels, keeping the most minimum of channels. And then you're all set up. So then we're going to, of course, click on our timeline. we're going to click File, and we're going to click Export, and we're going to click Avid ProTools AAF. There we go. Now we're going to check Options. In here, we're going to make sure AAF Edit Protocol is selected. We're going to just include audio. We're not going to include video, so declick video if video is checked there. All tracks. And in this case, we're going to do a consolidate. We're going to do 500 frames, nice big frames. We're going to include rendered audio effects and render all audio effects. If you do not want to take your audio effects, you can unclick those and you can click remove audio tracks. But if you do want to take them, we're going to click those. We're going to convert audio sample rate to project, convert audio bit depth to project. We're going to convert audio file format to AIFF. I think your prof said you could also do WAV. I just tend to default to AIFF. I don't know why. I think I heard it was better at some point, so it kind of tends to be my default. And we're going to embed it in that AAF. And then that just means you have one file, real easy. You just take it with you into your sound project, into your Pro Tools project. So, and there's no extra media files. So there we go. We're going to send it to the same place, doc for post sound. Save. There it goes. All right, and as you can see over here in the bin, we've got our AAF and these sort of 3 sound clips, because all I had was 3 sound clips. So very simple. It sort of appears up there, and then if I go to my drive and take a look, here it is. All right, there you go. There's your AAF. You'd open that up in Pro Tools. That's all you need. And you sort of import your video file, and you'd be ready to go with your AMA linked project. Now, what if you were doing a transcoded project? So I'm going to erase all of these. And now I'm going to work with my transcoded project. So what I'm going to do is hit Command and click on it and pull it into this bin that I would have created. So of course, same thing. I'm creating a new bin, exports for post sound. There it goes. I'm going to put it in. I'll rename it something like Transcoded to AAF test for post sound, or sort of whatever is useful for you, right? I don't think we need the copy and stuff on the end of that. Okay, perfect. There it is. I'm going to click on it. And of course, you'd go through exporting. Well, of course, the first thing you do is come here and add your 2 beeps and your timecode burn-in, and make sure your timecode's working correctly and all that sort of stuff. Your title slate, all that stuff from my other video. Do see it. Do watch it. It's very important to get that stuff right. Otherwise, you're going to really mess around with your ability to sync in post. So, so let's imagine we've done all that. And we've done our video file, because I did show you that already. We're not going to do that again. And this time we're going to, of course, again, make sure all of our videos are selected, or sort of all of our channels are selected, our channels of audio. Make sure they're all patched correctly. And then we're going to come up here, click on, make sure we're clicked on the correct timeline. We're going to click on File, Export. And again, we're going to click the Avid Pro Tools AAF options, and it's a little bit different this time. So we can definitely click AAF Edit Protocol. Again, we just want audio. We don't want video, so we don't click video. And we're going to hit Copy All Media. Again, here I've got clicked Include Rendered Audio Files, and I've unclicked Remove Track Effects. If you wanted to remove the effects, you could click Remove Track Effects. You could unclick Include Rendered Audio, whatever you want. So make sure, of course, flatten audio tracks is unclicked as well. And convert audio sample rate to project, convert audio bit rate to projects. I figure just keep them the same. Convert audio file format to AIFF. Again, that's sort of my default. I think your prof said you could do WAV or AIFF. And then we're going to embed the audio so that way there's just one file that goes into Pro Tools. No big deal. And then we're going to hit save. And we're going to, that's title there looks all good. And we're going to save it to our doc for post sound folder that we should have already created. And then hit save. There it goes. All right. And same thing happens. You've got your AAF here and you've got all your sound clips over here. If we take a look in our folder, doc for post sound, and there you go. You've got your two AAFs, one that I did from the AMA linked timeline, and one that I did from the timeline containing transcoded media. And you've also got your .dv video file. So that's what, of course, you won't have both. You'll have either one or the other AAF, and you'd have your video file. So that should be good to go. And I feel like that's a clean, easy approach that should go well. We've tested it in Pro Tools, and it seemed to work well. We've tested the version with handles. We've not tested the version where we sort of duplicate the media. So I'm hoping that works all good. Let me know if it doesn't and we'll figure out another one. Hope that goes well. Hope that you haven't had any problems today. I'm not sure if you have sound class today. So hopefully the AMA approach didn't cause you any, or the AMA linked comboed up with the AFA that was linked to the original media didn't cause you any problems, and you were all good. And I'll see you on Thursday night. Remember to check out my emails about Thursday night because Daniel's coming in to talk to us. All right, take care.